Ladies and gentlemen, this session is going to be moderated by Vikas Gupta, Managing Director, Lost Boys Productions, and he's going to be joined on stage by Sukesh Motwani, Co-founder and Director, Bodhitree Multimedia Limited, Rajan Shahi, Producer and Director, Ranjeet Thakur, Co-founder, Frames Production Company Private Limited, Aanand Garodiya, Actor and Content Creator, and Yubaraj Bhattacharya, Consultant TV and OTT, Juggernaut Productions, Intent Media Network. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have the biggest round of applause for all our speakers for this panel discussion? Can I please request our speakers and moderator to kindly join me on stage for this session? Can I have our speakers on stage, please? Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you. Request you to take your seats. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We are just waiting for Vikas to get back. Just give us 1 or 2 minutes. He'll be back over here as well to moderate this session. But it's going to be very, very interesting and engaging. Trust me when I say this. TV formats to engage with consumer 2.0, ladies and gentlemen. We have had interesting panel discussions, we have had fireside chats, every relevant topic that's suitable for the TV industry today. And you got the experts who have been leading the show right from the beginning. And of course, it's only going to be more and more engaging. So we are now waiting for Vikas to please come and join us over here on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel is ready. The stage is set. We're all set to get going on TV formats to engage with consumer 2.0. And in the meantime, what I'll request is, in the meantime, when Vikas comes, can we play some promo of the event? And if Vikas is here, I believe Vikas is here, so hold on to that, hold on to that. Give a huge round of applause to Vikas Gupta, ladies and gentlemen, the moderator for this session. I'll request him to please kindly join us over here on stage. And like we said, the panel is ready. Let's get going, ladies and gentlemen. TV formats to engage with consumer 2.0. Yes, yes, of course. There are mics you can open. Audio check. Yeah.
So, before we start, I think introduce karna ho is panel ko. I think they should say something about what they are in their own words today. Instead of me saying, Mr. Motwani has been heading has headed Z, Rajan Shahi sir, the shows. I just want you guys to say one line about yourself that kind of sums it up for you. We all know that everyone here sitting on the panel has done great work. But what defines them or what signifies them, what is important to them, how do they want to be known, is what they will tell themselves.
Hello, my name is Yubaraj Bhattacharya. I say I am in love with TV because many years back I was called to say launch one TV channel, and without zero experience of it, without possibly not even I didn't even watch too many shows by that time. That was some time back, and since then till now I think I'm in love with this medium and this format. So that's what I am.
The channel that he launched was Star Jalsa, one of the biggest hits for any channel to be launched in such high popularity.
Hi, everybody. I am Sukesh Motwani. I have been on both sides of the table. I've been able to, thankfully, also run a content company. But what I would like to believe that I am still very much in love with or passionate about is the female gaze, is the idea of trying to find stories to tell about different women, even could be younger women, could be the younger voice, could be the older voice, but the whole challenge of constantly looking at, okay, this is a medium for women. Of course, there are shows that can include men, but the idea that, you can tell stories to do with women and probably make a difference still fascinates me. Even after, sometimes I do question that in terms of hunger, in terms of passion, about whether I've lost, because for 3 decades or so we all sort of get tired. But the idea of feminine gaze never sort of loses its appeal for me.
Hi, I'm Rajan Shahi. My journey in television started 35 years ago as an assistant associate and everything, but turned director in 99, sorry, and directed around 18 and set up 18 shows, series, directors, etc., a lot of big shows. And then with Bidai in 2007 with Star, my journey as a producer started with Director's Cut production. And currently producing Ye Rishta Kya Kehlata Hai, which is more than 16 years, a daily soap, more than 4,750 episodes as of today. And and Anupama, of course, we launched 5 years back, and Touchwood doing well, which changed the trend. So these are the 2 current shows there. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ranjeet Thakur. I've been on both sides of the spectrum, from a TV channel perspective as an executive there, and now as a producer. And I think I have been known to have brought about something called as a dance revolution in this country, associated with some of the biggest dance shows that one can think of, right from Dance India Dance to Super Dancer to India's Best Dancer to Dance Plus, and I can go on with this forever. But yes, so amount of dance that we have done in this country is unbelievable. And I really find it extremely humbling to know that every single time that we go out in search of talent, there is still more, and there is still more, and there is still more that keeps on coming up. So thankfully here to still figure out how we can change dance from here onwards. Whatever we have seen, and from here onwards, how can we change that part? Thank you so much, guys.
Hi, this is Aanand Garodiya, and I have been on 3 sides of the spectrum. I've been an actor, I'm a writer, and I was a fiction head with Atrangi as well. So I've been on the Bermuda Triangle kind of a thing in the entertainment industry. And the one thing which I would like to be remembered as, whenever, is that if I could inspire even a child or even an old-aged person, that Aanand ne jo kiya, वैसा कुछ करना है, whether it is acting or whether it is content creation. It has to be inspirational. That is what I would like to be remembered as.
The word is instigation. But actually, let me tell you this, that while we have all discussed and said that how would you like to define yourself in a way, and all of you, and that's how you become producers, obsessed with work. See, imagine every single one line that we had to speak about ourselves, and we want us to be known like that. All of us have gone ahead and actually said about work. And that's exactly how television is made in this country. There is nothing else. There is no personal life. There is no professional life. The TV life is your ideal life. And when you get a chance to say, this is me, and exactly that's what we're talking about, is me. How much of your family life gets suffered on this is not something I will discuss here. But let's come back to the topic and discuss television. So there were some points that we were given, but I don't know how we will be able to go through that. But let's take it very instantly, जैसे आता है, vibe की तरह, or hopefully it'll be a good session. We'll start with the television back and now. I have actually given all of you guys some questions and answers with that. थोड़ा homework करके आए हम लोग. So, would you tell me, the first question was, which is one television show that has actually impacted you? It has to be an Indian show. It cannot be an America ka tha, Argentina ka tha. Indian show that has impacted you. It could be when you're 5 or when you're 50. It doesn't matter. We'll start with Aanand.
Well, if I can take the leverage and say not 1 but 2.
No, one. Chal do bol de, kuch nahi.
Well, then it was my childhood show when I used to watch it, Doordarshan times, it's Hum Log. And the reason is that there was so much of human emotions, there was so much of reality in it, and it was so subtle, yet it touched. So it's Hum Log.
मेरे लिए बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट था कि जब मैं स्पाइडरमैन दिखता था कार्टून में, आई थिंक दैट इज़ समथिंग दैट आई कैन नेवर फॉरगेट, एंड इट हैड अ ह्यूज इम्पैक्ट ऑन मी to be able to behave like him, think that I couldn't be him. But yes, that was as I was a child. So my Sundays were spent watching Spider-Man.
Rajan sir.
My favorite has been because I learnt a lot of direction from that. Was a serial called Salab, produced by my guru Ravi Rai ji. So मैं उसमें मेरा पहला job था as an associate. तो production, because he was a writer, producer, director. So you learned every craft under it. But what made an impact was that when Raviji's script used to come, we used to learn direction from that through the writing. And through the performances of Renuka Shahane, Sachin Khedekar, Rohini ji, all these people, you actually learn direction. And what has been my forte, I don't believe in saying action to the camera or trolley. They're equally important, they're equally, but two humans, So what is the storytelling? How important is writing? And interrelationship was a very strong impact for me. And that kind became a core for all my kind of shows, which I like to be identified as a director or producer.
Yeah, for me, I was very obsessed with all sagas from Doordarshan days. There was one show जिसमें नूतन होती थी, कालीगंज की बहू. So, but one of the things that later in TV that really inspired me was the manner in which Jassi was cracked. Jassi was one of my where I felt that ठीक है, human sagas ठीक है, romance ठीक है, लेकिन Jassi carried a lot of hope for also urban characters, women that were not accepted as cool enough. So a lot of those things really defined and helped me, whether it's in my web journey or I sort of sometimes, I mean, of course, we have to do very small town, semi-town, बाकी चीज़ें भी FTA के लिए जो characters आप create करते हो. लेकिन somewhere at the core, you like the way that underdog was presented, and that I can't get over.
Sukesh, I directed Jassi for 2 years. I came in the second schedule.
And Rajan, I met you there when you were directing because I was, I remember you were there and I had come to meet Diya and I sort of bumped into you.
I didn't get to meet you guys. I was the viewer of Jassi, like crazy.
Hi. Very interesting question because honestly, like I said, I did not really watch TV during my school days, college days, all of these things. So I'm sure it for all of us, now when we discuss TV, it is more like say, we mix up between what is the professional interest, the way you study shows now, and some things that you watch as a viewer. Okay, this. So when you asked me this question, I was thinking, and the show that I remember which impacted me, it was actually Malguri Days. I mean, that's a show I remember. Yeah, it's something that I saw. Okay, I did not study, I did not do whatever, but even today, suddenly out of the blue, when I think about it, it is something.
Malguri Days. Does anyone remember what year was it released? Google.
I don't remember it.
I think 84. Yeah, 84, 85. Not mistaken.
Has any one of you seen Malguri Days? Just raise your hands like that. Now imagine there's so many of you who are not born in 84, and yet you have seen Malguri Days. You know, there's a show called Bandini, which had come on NDTV Imagine. That show had done well on NDTV Imagine, and I think a couple of years back, I was meeting some people from Dangal. And it was the #1 show in the country because it was retelecasted and people were watching it like crazy. So, television, back and now, what works, what doesn't work, I think let's open the forum with that, with this thought process in mind.
See, it's just to say Bandini, see, good shows don't die. I mean, even in today's day and age, the afternoon part of the TV has the reruns of all the old shows. Okay. And the number of people watching those shows, which went on air maybe 3 years back, 5 years back, and the intensity with which they watch, okay, it is still amazing. So honestly, good shows just don't die. I mean, this is what I would say.
There was a question that was given to you guys A very, very good show that never worked. Would you give your answer, Sukesh? A very good television show that you watched, but it didn't work. You don't know the reason why or whatever. We can all come with solutions for it, but which was the show? Just give me the name of the show.
See, I will not mention specific shows because I was trying to figure out, because many experiments have been nipped in the bud in at least last 4 or 5 years. But I remember one show Rajan made, which was about an urban girl on Star Plus, Tere Sheher Mein, which had some interesting elements. I was trying to hope that it works. There was another show on partition that, and post-partition love saga with Shahi Sumit. And I had actually tried creating something for Sony on those lines many years back. And then it was nipped in the bud because this show hadn't worked. So there is that thing in the last 15...
We'll come back until everyone
yeah.
time.
So that is what I sort of...
Rajan sir, what was your show?
One show, there are many, of course, like Sukesh sir said that they get nipped in the bud. Isharo Mein on Sony TV by Zama Habib, who created that show. I thought that was brilliant writing, brilliant performance, but didn't work.
There was a show long time back called Ravan. Zee TV पे आया था तब. तो मुझे लगा कि यार बहुत पावरफुल कैरेक्टर है, माइतो है, फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू था, बट रावण डिड नॉट कनेक्ट विद द ऑडियंस एट ऑल. द वे इट वाज माउंटेड वेल, इट वाज promoted well, but I don't think it had that impact on the audience at all. So Ravan was that.
The one show, I will not say it didn't work, but it didn't work the way it had to, was the show on Sony TV. It was Patiala Babes. I liked the mother-daughter chemistry, but somehow it didn't click.
You know, the fact that there's such good shows which did not work. And we are saying good shows will work, whether it's told today or tomorrow, times have changed. So from that perspective, Sukesh, will you?
Can we also just say what is did not work, meaning it did not rate well enough, right? That is a very big question. When we say
The parameter is rating, I'm assuming, right? I mean, that's what I think television goes by.
Success is success.
Every Thursday is an exam that we all know what happens.
Every day it comes.
I didn't get the question.
I said that when we're talking about, like what the statement sir said was, every good show will work. We just have so many shows, good shows, that we as makers think are good shows, but they didn't work. Please on that.
See, the context is what, in the larger sense, for a creator, for all of us, constantly delivering successful shows is not the answer. Of course, for the larger system or the business model to operate, we want to look at many areas and say, कि अच्छा भाई ये factor नहीं, ये factor नहीं, ये factor नहीं. So for me, what's still important, or rather something that I've been searching for right now, is that in the last few years, all the shows that I've made, except for one web show that I did for Netflix, most of the shows that we made were not made with so much of passion. Were made because there was a lot of scientific input that was, say, given that, okay, this is the way it's got to be, the heroine's got to be designed this way, this is the environment you should take, be careful about. So somewhere that original instinct for you to create a heroine that is slightly more emotionally or intuitively designed dies, because a team is trying to tell you, like there are 6 people sitting in brainstorming and it's becoming more scientific. So that process sometimes can kill. So for me, the idea of a good show is not necessarily related to ratings. It is related to whether I, as a creator, and whether a certain audience.
The question is, good show, success or not? It's a good show, we can make great shows, but they don't become success. The thought process is, Bandhani, which was made then, played now, super hit. Nagin was there, Nagin came back, super hit. So the fact that good shows, good storytelling doesn't work. Would you want to comment on this?
No, I'm not saying about good storytelling. I will just extend on what Sukesh was saying. That it's become so scientific now that everyone goes by the data. So when you believe that you have made a good show, the good show concept comes to us from a point of view of data standpoint. So when you have a data standpoint saying that it's a good show.
No. So I'm saying good show is when you know as a person maker, like what Rajan sir said, what scripting, what direction, acting, and yet it is not successful on the data. I'm talking about that.
See, that would mean that whatever we thought which was a good show has definitely not resonated with the audience, right? So if it's not resonated with the audience, then you go back with the feedback of what they have told us to. So TV, by and large, I feel has become very dynamic. Okay, so there are, there are experts here who will tell you better, but every day the tracks are evolved to figure out whether the track is connecting or whether it has been accepted or not. The fact that the track becomes accepted, you drag on that track, you kind of build on that track, right? If it doesn't get accepted, you kind of shut it down immediately. So it's become so dynamic, so there is very little scope now for you to be able to understand what will really work, because everything is about trial and error. But the good part is that there is definite that much time. If you have experimented with something and it has not worked, you can definitely change it. Unlike a OTT or maybe a film where you cannot change that part anymore, TV is constant dynamism. Every week we are changing that part.
But Anand, would you also comment on this after the statement on what I'm saying, is that while we say it should be gut instincts and great storytelling, but with examples I'm saying that, isn't the audience not ready to see something new? While we say we will present on all of those, any show that you think is different storytelling done, but if you really see the formula on television that works is a formula. And it is unfortunately very, very scientific. While in the scientific approach, when channel tells you, they're trying to say this is what emotion will come, this is what will happen. But, just let me complete, whether it's Bandhani, whether it's about consuming content on TV. A Big Boss came in 2000, do you remember the first season?
18 years now.
But the most successful season of Big Boss are what? 13, 11, and I think one more, which had 7 and 9 average rate, some ratings, 6 and 8, which was, I was going through the data. Similarly on Splitsvilla, the most successful season was 7th and 8th, and now 15th. It is consumption. So when you're talking about formats, whether it's Balika Badu, whether it is Bandhani, what happens is that they change the protagonist, but the story is exactly the same, and that's what people love watching it. So when you see a child going through this whole Saas Bahu, you're watching the same content. I'm just saying, it's a thought on that.
You know what, Vikas?
See, I'll just add to that. When one tries to talk about scientific being too stifling, I am not at all disregarding the fact that there are 7 or 8 soap parameters. If you look at South American telenovelas, you look at the greatest hits all over the world in last 4 decades, there are certain universal emotions, certain familial emotions, certain romance tropes, certain elements that are always going to deliver. You need to crack a right combination. Like I admire Ekta for cracking certain things correctly. I admire many other makers, including Rajan. I know some of my strengths also in these matters. But what is relevant is the ability to see whether that formula is backed by very passionate direction, treatment, also very good casting. Now, when I say good casting, this is in the subjective zone. There are people who came up to me and have also told me exactly what ratio का faces होना चाहिए, sacred geometry use होना चाहिए.
You will not tell us names, na?
So it's very interesting that वो सब चीजें आप predict नहीं कर सकते, वो intangible है. आप सिर्फ कोशिश कर सकते हो बहुत प्यार से. जैसे इनका ही एक शो था जब अनुपमा का प्रोमो आया, many of us were wondering कि यार ये suddenly ये कैसे ये चलेगा क्या? And it is the hugest hit for the longest time, because finally when we saw the intangible magic of how Rajan must have put the show together and how Rupali was performing and how that character came about, how we felt sympathy for her, they were able to make her remarry, which none of the other shows would ever even thought at that point in their wildest dream कि कोई 45-year-old Gujarati housewife वापस remarry करेगी और जिंदगी में सच ढूंढेगी अपना. तो बहुत कुछ होता है जो मैजिक जो आपको ढूंढना पड़ता है, उसके लिए स्ट्राइव करना पड़ता है. That's the only thing with formula.
So what I would like to add to what Sukesh sir said is that the examples that you gave, whether it is fiction or non-fiction, whether it is Big Boss, whether it is Rajan sir's Anupama, whether it is Bandini.
CID.
The one thing which is very common and important is, and always worked, is a character. If a particular character is clicked, if the character is magnetic, that character will click, it will connect with the audience, and that audience will get addicted to that character. Coming to Ranjeet's show, which is non-fiction, but you see, every season we wait what Geeta Ma is going to do, because we know what Geeta Ma is going to do.
Or what Raghav will
We
do.
know Anurag Da.
Dance, we're big
So
fans.
see, people are connected, and they are real, but they are still characters. So any show, a hit show, and sir, I think you might agree to me, Anupama also, your show also, the shows that I have written, whether it was Adalat also, even a negative character. But if it is clicked, like Lado was totally an antagonist show of Ammaji, but the character clicked. So I think that is very important. The good character has to be made.
See, we discussed this word scientific for a while, okay. I say it in this manner, there is science, because all put together, we deal with human beings, we see viewership, there are trends, there is science that comes into play, okay. But see, there is nothing wrong with it, in the sense, like say to give you the analogy, if you take cricket, which is the only other thing equivalent to daily soap in India, for a batsman or a bowler, there are only 5 or things that they learn, okay. They spend their life learning a few drives, and they spend their lives learning a few swings. It is how they use it when they go out to play. Okay. In the same manner, when people go and write and make daily soaps episode after episodes, there are those 5 or 6 things. That is it. That is the copybook. But how you use it. I'll just share one very interesting story about Anupama Rajan sir. Okay. This is about both good quality content, science, and everything put together. I was working with a group of technology people. Okay. They had come down, and this is about they wanted to use technology in creating content. Okay. So therefore, these are the group of people who have advised lots of production houses abroad. Okay. Okay. So no, not this one. Some other guy. Okay. Now, I was talking to a group of men in the age group of say 30 to 50 who have gone to various IITs, and then they have gone abroad, done their PhDs in everything from artificial intelligence to whatever, and now they are going to talk about content. They want to create a technology thing which will help content. Okay. They were actually analyzing the failure rate of OTT, because the success rate was in India last 3-4 years, it has been only about 4%. So therefore, they were trying to figure out, they were pitching and understanding about how to improve this success rate. Okay. So I started talking to them, and they were also wanting to understand about TV. So I said, first you need to watch TV, otherwise how will you understand what we are talking? Now, for all of these men, never in their life they have watched TV. Never in their life. When they were kids, obviously they were told never to watch TV. And subsequently, they have never watched TV.
Yubaraj, at that point, there's a question that was given to all of you. There's one TV show that you have to watch an episode, cannot miss. You have to tell the answers to that right now.
Will do, but can I just finish? This is for you to know this bit. Okay. So when I told them, they said, okay. So they said that, okay, which show? I said, you take the show. Anupama is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3 in the market, watch any show. So obviously they chose Anupama and came back. Now these people, they came back impressed with the show. Okay? So good show, no, I'm saying good show, it actually says that it connects so deeply. Okay, we were talking about it, something or other about these TV shows and etc. It ends up connecting with these people. And then I gave them the challenge, if you want to understand about TV writing, don't start from watch episode number 1. They started watching from, say, episode number 300. Right? And they still understood everything. So that is what you were saying about this. So it's bloody difficult.
That question's answer, please. Which is one TV show that you currently watch and you can't miss an episode of?
Actually, we get very little time to watch our own shows.
Agreed.
But I have to say, I mean, it's no more on TV, but I still do watch The Big Bang Theory. And
No, that's not the.
Sorry,
What I meant is current show. If
See, there are quite a few shows, but because सच बताऊं तो अपनी इंडस्ट्री में जैसा है
नहीं
कि हम लोग
अब केवल अपना आंसर बताओ अभी, मैं उसके
but हम लोग बनाएं या देखें.
एक मिनट, हाँ ना.
I like White Lotus.
White Lotus,
I'm
okay.
Big fan.
Yeah. Sukesh sir.
In terms of, you mean any current?
Any show currently that has come and you're watching it and you can't miss an episode of, no matter what, like fans.
See, there is another show called Paradise, which is made by the maker of This Is Us. It's a little slow, but I kind of really liked the characters. In Hindi TV also, one keeps attempting to go and watch shows. I remember I watched the first 100 episodes of Anupma very carefully. But then later, one obviously because of work and other things sort of drifted. So there are times that you admire shows and move.
Yubaraj?
Right now, see, like I was saying, our professional interest and viewership interest is matched somewhere or other. Okay. But so as of now, I am tracking Unne Ki Asha because I was thinking that this will do well.
You're tracking. As a viewer, you love watching the show.
Now, yes, because I liked it when it was not rating so much. Okay. But there was something in that which I felt this should grow. I'm happy that it is growing.
So here, there are makers who make television shows, and out of 5, 4 don't watch those shows. That is so important to understand right now, that same goes for me, I have actually stopped watching television for as long as I can remember. And we are making TV shows, and that's the truth. You know, there was a time when we were passionate about stuff we used to watch, but we have stopped watching television, and we are making television.
Because वो ऐसा है ना, जो हलवाई बनाता है वो खुद खा नहीं सकता
है. Absolutely. But understand, उसने कभी खाया होगा तभी वो एक्सपेरिमेंट कर सकता है, चीजें कर सकता है. एक तरीके की ना मिठाई वो फिर वो परमानेंट फिक्स हो जाती है, उसके अलावा कुछ और बना नहीं पाता वो, क्योंकि उसने वही बनाई होती है और उसी में वो महारत हासिल करता है. यहाँ पर हमारी ऑडियंस ऐसी है, वो इतनी लेजी है, जब भी कोई हम लोग नया शो लेके आते हैं ना, उसको इंटरेस्टिंग होगा, 20 एपिसोड तक सही चलेगा, फिर उसके बाद गिरेगा, फिर वो वापस घूम फिर के वापस वही हो जाता है जो कि होना चाहिए उसका, बिकॉज द ऑडियंस विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट एनीथिंग एल्स इन दैट फॉर्मेट. सो वी हैव हैड दोज अनसक्सेसफुल बिट्स जिसको सक्सेसफुल बना दिया घुमाकर. द स्टोरी लाइन हैज बीन चेंज्ड एंड इट कम बैक टू अगेन अ central point where this happens. So will you blame us for not watching enough, or will you blame the audiences for watching only that?
अभी ये तो ये हुआ ना कि मुर्गी पहले आई या अंडा.
नहीं, यहाँ तो नॉनवेज की बात ही नहीं हो रही.
नहीं, बट मुझे लगता है कि honestly it is about not the makers, because makers will still want to experiment. I think all 5 of us sitting here, or including you, I think everybody wants to give out something which is different from something else. It's an acceptance which defeats the purpose, right?
And coming from that, I'm interrupting Ranjeet. अपना ही experience, we did that show, which we liked it so much, and we went and pitched it also. I mean, not to name them, but passionately बनाया था, mind-blowing show, but it didn't, because हमने अपने passion से बनाया था.
And we were, मतलब, super kicked on it. We had screenplays written, we had everything done. You know, we went out there. But again, it depends on the makers and the makers' vision. But they couldn't see it through, and that's it. It just kind of died there.
Also, I think I want to make a point, Vikas, on 3 things that, just say I watch a lot of Korean content, so I am very addicted to, by the way, K-dramas, and I'm able to understand. Now, what probably the Indian TV ecosystem is struggling with right now, and that's why I think even in the last address, we talked about how advertisers are moving away from the TV ecosystem. They are moving towards more the digital ecosystem. So there's an overall sense of, and linear TV is not going to die, that I completely agree, but there is a crisis. Now the crisis is threefold. It's not, I mean, a dilemma that is at 3 levels. One is evolving viewer taste. Now, are we being able to curate so that we can match up to that viewer taste? क्योंकि व्यूअर टेस्ट का अटेंशन स्पैन व्यूअर्स का कम होता जा रहा है. सो देयर इज अ फियर दैट यू नो अ लॉट ऑफ देम आर वाचिंग these short micro dramas or insta reels, or so there is that fear, which is the viewer, okay, what is the viewer wanting and how do I keep them engaged? The second comes, is our content delivery system in the most perfect way? I mean, is that अगर आज मुझे ऐसा शो सस्टेन करना है एक प्रोग्रामर को जो शायद 0.8 ही लाता होगा बार्क पे, लेकिन बहुत अच्छा शो है, बट उसको सस्टेन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं purely because it's not getting the kind of pay TV ads that it needs to get, then is there a model that sort of will, you know, open up, is a content delivery system responsible in such a way कि वो बहुत लोगों के पास जा सके, maybe कल broadband आएगा, कुछ आएगा, तो शायद उसका advertising से sustenance बढ़ जाएगा, तो there is that problem. And the third, the biggest problem, and here I'm probably a little scared also when I say that, कि the curation, the programming, क्या वो बहुत ज़्यादा मैकेनिकल रिसर्च ड्रिवन, बहुत ज़्यादा साइंटिफिक और बहुत ज़्यादा डर सी गई है कि भाई मैं एक टेम्पलेट लिया है उसी टेम्पलेट को रिपीट करता रहूं. अनुपमा के 3 वर्जन आ चुके हैं अभी सडनली. हाँ तो हाँ, बट देयर इज़ अ वरी दैट देयर माइट बी टू मच ड्यूप्लिकेशन out of fear. So that boldness or the courage that curators may need to show, and of course they will fail, and maybe it's the wrong time to fail because sponsors are walking away towards digital. So there are some ecosystem, 3 kinds of crisis: understanding of the viewer mind, curation, the programming, and third is of course the business model, and fourth maybe the quality of writers, which is good, but we are not being able to really get the best out of them purely because we have either got them operating in fear or mechanical. Are we really allowing them to?
But sir, tell me, a writer gets a good content, gets something different. How much is it possible that that writer per se, which his conviction goes on screen, which is on paper, because that writer has to go to so many hierarchies, that script has to go to so many hierarchies, where the producer भी इतना मजबूर हो जाता है तो बोलता है छोड़ यार हम क्या करेंगे.
Yeah, and that's the dilemma we are at.
But you know, stronger producers that I've seen, and people who are creators who want to make the shows they want to make, and surprisingly there are enough. You know, when
right
you see
now,
they are
a
able
lot
to.
of people are hillowed. I mean, it is sort of. It's not as if of course people get away sometimes, but overall if there is what you call as fear in the ecosystem,
True.
also a belief that 18 minutes आना ही आना है time spent, तो जो अच्छी चीज़, जैसे my bigger worry is that जैसे right now in any channel, the first 3 weeks have become so crucial that your highest point that was maybe organic telling से अगर वो शायद दूसरे महीने में आता, आप अगर दूसरे हफ्ते में ले आएंगे ज़बरदस्ती, तो शायद वो characters नहीं build हुए हों. क्या वो patience दिखाएं?
नहीं, so this is again, sorry, I'm just quickly summing this up for us. मुझे लगता है कि जब हम पहले टीवी देखते थे, जब टीवी आया था, I'm talking about the 90s, the best era of television, music and everything else that we can think of. तभी बहुत अलग अलग कहानी आई थी, lot of different stories, and every viewer was finding their story in the serials. Right? ड्रामा तभी भी होता था, ड्रामा अभी भी हो रहा है. But I can assure you that आज अगर आप अपना चैनल का लोगो बंद करोगे तो आपको समझ नहीं आएगा ये कौन से चैनल पे चल रहा है. That's the clarity and that's the fact. But पहले में आपके कैरेक्टर्स, आपकी स्टोरी टेलिंग, आपका हर एक चीज़ जो आप देखते थे बहुत इंडिविजुअल थी, इंडिजीनियस थी. अभी हर एक चीज़ ना होमोजीनियस हो चुकी है. इट्स ऑल पैकेज्ड इन वन पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ थिंग. अब उसी में आप खेलते रहोगे तो that's all that you're going to get. You're going to get marginal benefit on this. You're not going to get a straight out there. So ये मेरा.
The other question I asked you guys was, one TV show.
Can I just add a little bit to this? We
Yeah.
are talking about a crisis. Okay, that TV is currently facing a crisis.
Actually,
not
this
many
is part
shows.
of the same thing.
Yeah.
After all of us have given that answer, then continue with this, add that answer also there. One television show that became very successful, but you are thinking, कैसे? ऐसे कैसे हो गया? Well, there's no sir pair, you don't able to understand. Tell your answers on that.
Well, I have.
लड़ाई कराएगा.
Don't be diplomatic
नहीं,
here.
मुझे
Right now you're
seriously,
saying content
मुझे
is not
नहीं
working, this is
पता
working.
है. क्योंकि मुझे नहीं, I'm telling you, I'm not being
Aanand,
diplomatic.
You're an actor, you
Because-
face the camera.
No,
Say
I
it.
face the camera. I understand. I face the music too. But मैं बहुत genuinely बता रहा हूँ, because not being diplomatic, कि जब कोई चीज़ मुझे नहीं अच्छी लगती है फिर भी चलती है तो सबसे पहले मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि मैं कहाँ गलत हूँ यार।
कौन सी तेरे को अच्छी नहीं लगी जो चली, वही तो
मुझे
पूछते हैं बस।
सचमुच मुझे भी वो शो का नाम तो याद भी नहीं है बिकॉज इट वाज सम 10-15 years ago. So
बादाम।
I can tell you अभी जो शो चल रहा था which is a pretty good success in the non-fiction space. जब पहला नाम आया और जब पूरा वर्किंग आई थी तो मुझे समझ ही नहीं आया कि यार ये एक्चुअली चलेगा कैसे. एंड द शो इज़ लाफ्टर शेफ्स. मतलब इट्स अ फैक्ट दैट व्हेन आई सॉ इट आई कुड नॉट रेजोनेट विद माई सेल्फ एंड दैट्स माई पर्सनल बिलीफ. बट इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि शो अच्छा नहीं बना था. आई एम श्योर शो अच्छा ही बना है करके वो बहुत बड़ा हिट हुआ है, राइट? बट आई कुड नॉट अंडरस्टैंड दैट.
राजन सर.
See, because I work and only produce shows which I feel for and I relate to them, the show was very successful, brilliant, catering to a certain audience. That is why super duper successful. Sasural Simar ka, but I just could not relate to it. Whoa, I couldn't relate to the makhis and everything.
Makhis and everything, yeah.
There are times when, I mean, I'm talking about 15 or 20 years back, there was a show called Ek Ladki Anjani Si. And I was very surprised कि ये कैसे चलेगा, मैं तो commission नहीं करता, because ये तो, but at that point in time, you know, it worked for very long. So it sort of did well on Sony for what its audience. So sometimes you realize, I mean, you value that some channel tried an experiment, took a South American show which was very different. Even Jassi for that matter, people were very confused कि ये चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा, ऐसी हीरोइन थोड़ी चलती है. तो चल गया ना. तो there are times when experiments go right.
Yubaraj sir.
Well, running of the show, I inherited Kumkum Bhagya from him and then Kundli Bhagya. Okay. So I started watching the shows. Okay. They was generating a lot of ratings. Okay. And honestly speaking, that reinforced the belief of what makes a very successful TV show. Okay. To say this, I will just share one data point. We all know this bit now, that for every TV channel, there is an 80-20 rule that operates, which is to say that 20% of the TV channel's viewer generate 80% of their ratings. Okay. That is the core viewer that is there for every TV channel. They generate 80%.
Repeat that. Okay, I didn't understand that.
See, every TV channel has a core viewer. Okay. It is quantified. So different TV channels from Star Plus to Dangal, you will go through and they will know that that channel's asset is really the size of their core viewer base. Okay. That core viewer base generates 80% of the ratings that the TV channel gets. Okay. Now, why TV becomes very difficult, TV shows have become very difficult, it is also from a very simple fact. Imagine these people. These are the people who are hardcore TV viewers. They have been watching TV for last 10 years and they watch some 3-4 hours every day. Obviously, common sense would say that they watch the top shows. Top shows are the best quality shows. So therefore, for any new TV show getting launched on that particular channel, their majority viewers are actually benchmarking that show vis-a-vis the top shows that they have seen. If quality-wise they don't match up, that TV show does not have a chance. The rejection is happening very fast. That is the reason why in 1 week, in 2 weeks, they are saying, no, this is not as good as the top shows that we are watching. That is the reason. It's actually common sense. Okay. And therefore, you know, we keep talking about new story, new whatever, but also the fact that in TV, people really watch one episode at a time. Today's viewing. Aaj ka episode, maybe 6 or 7 scenes. So therefore, what becomes more and more, imagine all the shows that we spoke about long back, okay. Imagine the quality of dialogue writing, right? So
you know, I little disagree on that about quality, because this is not a story which is made up, it's real. There was a show called Kasauti Zindagi Ki, and I had just joined Balaji at that point of time. I was an intern, and Nivedita Basu was the creative director on it, and she was finalizing the episode. Now somehow it so happened that the actors were not available. They only had 2 scenes, 2 cuts available for the episode, where Bajaj is walking towards the mandir and Anurag is also walking towards the mandir and they will have a face-off. They had nothing else. She started the song, and you can ask Nivita when you meet her. She started a song and the flashes started. And sometimes those flashes were the same flashes. And that was, I think, in the last 2 months, highest rated episode, which had nothing, just flashes and songs. When you said about characters being loved so much, you know, when you are not even giving new content, and that is the most rated for that week and among the top rated for those 2 months. That's also fact.
No, that also, it's like, say, I'll give another case study in this particular case. Once we had asked, say, the programming team people, okay, to go and watch some top hit shows, just the Shadi drama, so to say, which is the core of any daily soap, so to say. So we said, please go and watch the Shadi drama of some of the hit shows, okay, and come back with your this number one, how many episodes got made on this one single incident, which is the Shadi happening. Start from when it started and the follow through, all put together. See the number of episodes that you have got.
Rajan sir is smiling.
Okay. Then it is like, say, next is that you have access to the data. So these are the episodes that have rated tremendously well. So you know this is a success case story. Okay. So as a student, you are really studying that bit. And then come back with your answers. I still remember one of the programming person who had a complete shock in her face and said that, okay, number one, this was 67 episodes, start to finish. Okay.
Shadi, only Shadi.
Only Shadi, only Shadi.
Hum aapke kaun started that?
Second thing what they said to talk about your this bit, they said that there are episodes which has delivered about 20 minutes of time spent, which is as much as you can get in a 22-minute thing. And they said the hero and the heroine is not talking. They were not there. They were there on screen for 6 minutes. Okay. So again, it is about Ghuma Firake, it boils down to the fact that, okay, how well you have weaved the story so that the tertiary characters, they are on screen. Hero and the heroine is there instead of 20 minutes. So I said, next time you give a feedback to a screenplay, please remember this bit because this also works.
Sukesh sir had said one very interesting thing, and I think that really, really kind of sums it up also in a way. When he said that, itna hi hai, or how are you going to use it? You know, you get this, like they always say, there are only 10 stories in the world, how you tell them. But if you do not have the right actors, like in Anupama Rupali is mind-boggling. Similarly, you don't have the right technicians and the right channel to push it in the right direction. A very good show can just go out of the window. And some very bad shows, people can come together and really salvage them. And they can be working. But yeah, there is a formula or not a formula is what I want to know. On daily soaps is what we're talking about right now.
No, I think there is a formula, but there is also a lot of passion and hard work and good luck. Good luck in getting the right people, getting the right teams, managing like an HR leader. And a channel that completely believes and collaborates with you extremely well.
Yeah, I'll just sum up on the belief part.
Sum up is not right. Sum up I have to ask. Okay, you can start summing it up with your answer of the last question. The question that was asked to every one of here is, what are the 2 rules? If they knew it earlier, they would be very happy. And today they can't live without those 2 rules. That'll be great for people who want to be producing, creating content and doing what they were doing. Just might help them. It could be anything. Aanand.
That is making content, right?
Not just making content. And what I'm saying is, in your life today, even if it is saying you have to wake up 5 in the morning, it will directly affect, or you have to have a happy life, then your work is happy. It could be anything. But for you guys, what are those 2 rules?
It has to be gratifying and inspiring. These 2 things.
You can't live without gratifying and inspiring.
I have to get inspired, or I have to inspire, or at least I need a gratification.
मेरा काफ़ी सिंपल है, रात को अच्छी नींद आनी चाहिए ताकि तुम सुबह उठ के फ्रेश हो. I think good sleep is the key to anything and everything that we can think of. That's the first part. And secondly, it's also about discipline. So it's important to stick to something or something that you believe in, just for yourself. कोई दुनिया को दिखाने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, अपने खुद के लिए. तो वो discipline आप maintain करो और अच्छी नींद पाओ. Those two things are important.
Rajan sir.
So, Vikas, I'll take a couple of minutes to explain this. Because
Really not spoken also so much. You want to hear you speak.
because coming from one funda, I follow in life. सुनो सबकी करो अपनी. तो मैं सबकी सुन रहा था. But so ये जब when I became a producer also with Vidai, and that time Mr. Rupert Murdoch had taken over and Mr. Uday Shankar had just taken over Star, and we know the positioning of Star number 4, and Vivek Bell had joined in from Z. And I was the first producer they had called and said that, and it was a very unnerving period, but with a lot of responsibility कि एक channel 4 number पे है, और Uday sir has just taken over and huge stakes and Vivek has come. But one thing what has always worked for me per se, if I analyze the good shows which I've done well, is go by your conviction. Because उससे बड़ी कोई चीज़ नहीं है. तो विदाई एक ऐसा शो आया ऐसे वक्त में जब एक बहुत खूबसूरत शोज चल रहे थे बट एक तरह के, तो एक सिंपल कहानी, सिंपल गर्ल्स नेक्स्ट डोर, नॉट बिग फेसेस, सिंपल ज्वेलरी, छोटा सेट, ब्रिलियंट राइटिंग बाय जमा सर, इंटर रिलेशनशिप्स, because that is a world which I have lived when I assisted Gulzar Saab, Ravi Rai, all these people. So I have lived that world, you know. I could relate to it. Uday sir said, go by your conviction. Another thing, being a director, that was, I used to direct at that time. इतनी डिस्कशन कैरेक्टर्स पे होती है, विवेक बहुत डिस्कशन करता नहीं है, एंड ही लीव्स इट टू द मेकर्स टू डू इट, यू नो. आई रिमेंबर आई वाज शूटिंग विद दिस गर्ल कॉल्ड सारा खान, साधना, शी बिकेम वेरी पॉपुलर लेटर. So her first shot opposite Taj Mahal was supposed to be a shot where she is very extrovert, smiling, and it was a first shot, first day, and she was so nervous she couldn't smile. I immediately changed the character there, of course, within the parameters of what had been discussed, and I made a little introvert and made the other sister extrovert. I called her Vivek in the evening. I said, Rajan, the ball is in your court. Please don't tell me anything. You are a maker. That is why the reason Uday sir is backing you and I am backing you. So likewise, if you see another, I'll obviously talk about the hit shows, but रिश्ता भी वैसे ही आया. अरे कौन शादी, त्योहार है, no negative character. आज तक ये रिश्ता में 4,750 एपिसोड हमारा एक नॉमिनेशन ही जाता नेगेटिव कैरेक्टर के लिए. ये शो कैसे चलेगा? बट उसने अपनी राइटिंग एक अपना बनाया. लास्ट आई जस्ट सम इट अप विद द एग्जांपल ऑफ अनुपमा. तो व्हेन अनुपमा वी मेड विद अ लॉट ऑफ कन्विक्शन, ऑफ कोर्स, एंड आई एम वेरी ब्लड अबाउट दीज थिंग्स. देयर वर सम पीपल इन स्टार हु वर रियली कन्विंस्ड, एंड सम पीपल ऑन अ वेरी हाई लेवल, but I think they were testing our confidence when they were saying chalega, nahi chalega, whatever. But I remember Mr. Gaurav Banerjee, Shumanto sir said, Rajan, just go out, make it with your conviction. Because few shows I had done where I realized, see, hit flop किसी के हाथ में नहीं है. Can anybody sitting here or anybody guarantee this is a hit or flop? But I had made one show for the first time in that, and it's a learning experience, and then with a couple of more channels, then I said, I can't work that way. And I'm very blunt and very straight and very humble about it. आप कुछ लेके जाते हो, वहाँ के 10 लोग कुछ बोलते हैं, फिर 6 लोग कुछ बोलेंगे, फिर आप फीडबैक पढ़ रहे हो, फिर ये कुछ बोल रहा है, 1% something. Where do you need the maker? And then जब खिचड़ी पक जाएगी, chapter close, you go to another show. So that one incident happened, and I got really demoralized. And Uday sir called me and said, Rajan, when I give a show, I give it to Rajan Shahi, not to these 20 people. And that is where the concept of showrunner came in Star, and which everything is done very collaboratively with Star. They are great partners. Touchwood, Anupama Rishta can only be made on Star because the kind of liberty, the kind of freedom you were given, you know, you were saying you're a maker. That is why I always look up to Ekta Kapoor as my idol. And I met her recently at Kevin sir. And I said, ma'am, you're always, because you are a producer in true sense of the word. So, Anupama bhi aise bana. And I remember there was a little ki banaye, nahi banaye, 45, isko 6 baje ka slot de do, Bombay kar do. I told Gaurav and Shumanto sir, I've been working on this. Agar ye show nahi chalega, I will never come to Star with the show. And they both went to the top boss and told them, we'll leave our jobs. Mr. Shumanto Bose and Gaurav Banerjee, if this show doesn't work, COVID came. This is just a thing to understand what convictions and all are. COVID aaya. Everybody knows TV was out, TV was finished, there were only reruns happening. They said even cinemas out. So genuinely, the channel didn't have budget. They only had budget to get 4 shows on air, which were two of mine, two of Gul's and one of Ekta ji. And they said, Anupama ka budget nahi hai because there's no money. And we had already got a promo of 9 p.m. this thing. Last minute something happened and Shumanto sir and Mr. Gaurav Banerjee suddenly, I don't know, I really spoke to them one late in the night, got very emotional that all shows are coming on air after COVID and this show is not coming in. It would come after 4 months. Something about these two people, that is the, I see faith, a broadcaster, a great collaborator, who's not sitting and saying कि यहाँ पर ये shot लो, ये jewelry यहाँ पर पहनो, ये track यहाँ पे डालो, वो काम नहीं होता है broadcaster का. अगर अच्छे makers आपको ज़रूरत है, you know. So they said, they went again, convinced him, and they said, Rajan, we're coming on air, and very proudly for Star, for us, that show, when they said television मर चुका है, अनुपमा ने आके television को वापस revive किया. आज by God's grace, I'm so happy कि 10 shows चल रहे हैं जो अनुपमा की costume, jewelry, dialogue, screenplay सब copy कर रहे हैं, and it's good. एक show चलता है तो सारी industry चलती है. So what I'm coming down to ना, जो मेरे दो चीज़ें हैं ना, collaboration मैं बहुत करता हूँ, but conviction के साथ चलता हूँ. That is why then I rather not take that pressure of working with. And जब मैं कभी चैनल की बात होती है ना, इस चैनल में काम करो, सबसे पहले पूछता हूँ उनके, not the bosses, उनके जो नीचे काम कर रहे हैं वो EPs, इनका फीडबैक आएगा, जो रात को 2 बजे बैठ के आपकी ज्वेलरी कॉस्ट्यूम पूछेंगे, जो आपको शॉर्ट डिवीजन सिखाने वाले. भैया मेरे पास भी फॉर्मूला हिट शो का नहीं है, बट आपने मुझे बुलाया क्यों फिर? इफ़ यू डोंट वांट माय कन्विक्शन. I burned my finger in 3 shows like that, and then I said, yaar, and anyways, DKP and my company is known to doing just 1 show in 3 years or 2 shows in 3-4 years like that. You know, we don't anyways believe in, because that's my personality, that's the way I function. कि मेरे shows should reflect my, you know, point of view or what I feel about the show. So I think conviction जहाँ हिलाते हैं ना, मैं उस गली जाता नहीं. And that time when I didn't have work also properly, probably 1 show on air. But I said I will not. It's going to be other producers will pick up 10 shows. Then cry. हमको channel ऐसे बोल रहा है या ये system ये हो रहा है. उनके भी reasons होते हैं. We stuck with 1 show for 3 years. We said जहाँ एक collaborator की तरह काम करेंगे, not a glorified EP, I will work there, and that is the way I worked till date also.
Very, very important, very rightly said also. Sukesh.
I'll just say 2 things that you still have to keep in mind while dealing with platforms. Dealing with life I meant actually, is to do with a certain amount of commitment. You need to have the idea of committing, because sometimes when I've strayed in my commitment or I've gone too much in one direction and not, you know, loved the show or loved the work that I'm doing, which might have happened in 1 or 2 cases, it will be a problem. And the second thing that is very relevant in life, which actually comes in the shortest way of what actually Rajan also said, is to do with ego management. My own ego management, and genuinely knowing when to sort of, you know, make sure that you shatter the ego of somebody else and tell them that you're making a mistake. Even if they are making a mistake, let them know that they are making a mistake, or let them know that, no, you're right, I'm standing with you, or they are standing with me. So ego management generally of a team, talent also. You need to tell the talent that you're being extra indisciplined, or anything that you're, any partner that you're working with. So these 2 things.
Lastly, Yubaraj.
See, the 2 things, one I think is definitely relevance. I mean, we are all human beings, so there are certain things which we react to, and there are certain things we can't react to, even if it is very good or very bad, whatever. So relevance is very, very important. And secondly is that it should spark a thought. Otherwise, you know, we are going through a lot of information overload whatsoever. If it doesn't trigger a thought in us, I don't think it just works for us. I mean, conviction, commitment, all follows thereafter. That, okay, this is something that I can take up and I can think about it. Then maybe someday something will come out of it. Okay. So these are the 2 things.
So we will be ending this with a quick list. I'm just going to say, because we're talking about content here, and I just want to tell you from 2005 to 2025, I'll be quickly saying these names. These are the most popular shows or a film in that department that were there. It starts with 2005, Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki and Bhabhi on Sahara 1. Rang De Basanti was the film that influenced the youth. Kasam Se Bidai was 2006. And Lage Raho Munna Bhai was the film that released that year. These are just things that had worked and people loved it, whether it's rating-wise also or otherwise. Dil Mil Gaye and Ambar Dhara were the ones that made a lot of impact in the year 2007. Similarly, there's a long list, and Maha Siddharth bol raha hoga, ban karo. But if you guys want to know more about the list, please go and search yourself. It'll at least give you more time to understand what TV was and how it has been and how it's working. और उसके अलावा कुछ तो मैं नहीं बोल रहा. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Fascinating discussions. Call for bigger round of appreciation and cheer, please. I'll request all of you to please kindly wait on stage. Thank you so much for that engaging discussion. I'll request Mr. Siddharth Laik, founder and editor-in-chief, IWMBuzz Media, to please kindly come up on stage and give away the token of appreciation to all our esteemed guests over here. Can I have a huge round of applause for Mr. Siddharth Laik as well, please? He and his entire team have put forward this event, the TV Summit, which we're all embracing and enjoying right now. So kudos to the team of IWMBuzz Media Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Z News presents IWMBuzz TV Summit, 4th edition, co-powered by Dangal, Sri Adhikari Brothers, Nett Media Partners, KAANS, White Apple, and an initiative by IWMBuzz Live. And a huge thanks to all our guests over here for taking out time from their respective busy schedules to be with us over here. So just to appreciate that, can I please request all of you to clap once again for all our speakers over here. Thank you.